Hello creative ones and welcome to Mixed Media Art Fundamentals. I'm Michelle Brown with Mixed Media Art and I'm so looking forward to answering all your mixed media questions and hopefully inspiring you to give it a try. Now in this episode we're going to be answering the question, what papers do I use? And it certainly is one of the most common questions I get at craft shows, particularly from card makers and scrapbookers who are used to putting a lot of thought into what they use as their substrate. Now, of course, with mixed media art, there are no rules, only guidelines, and it really does depend on what type of mixed media you like to do as to what paper is the best for your situation. And as always, I would encourage you to experiment with what you've got on hand, what you like to create, and figure out which is the best paper for you. Now, if the type of art journaling or mixed media you like to do is fairly sort of light on, using stamping and stickers and layers and dry adhesives, then a thinner paper will be fine. But if you want to add more layers, you want to use wet glues and paints and really grunge things up and add lots of layers, then you're going to need a heavier weight paper because that will help stand up to the rigours. And then whether it's in a book or loose leaf or you've made a book or on a canvas, then you'll be able to add different layers. So let's jump into a few examples and see what work for you. So like I said, there are so many different substrates we can do on mixed media. So here is the first example of a little book I've created. This was made with slightly thick copy of paper. It's about an 80-90 GSM. And here I've done some fairly simple art journaling. So stuck with some dry inks, some stamping, some collage, some washi tapes, some rub-ons, and then a little bit of a paint pen as well. So this, because I knew it was a thinner paper, I didn't try and build up lots of layers. I've done a bit of a wash, but nothing too heavy. Again, some simple stamping, some focal points, and not try to build up too many crazy layers because it is just made from paper. Now we can also use junk journals. So like we said, our scrap papers, some book pages, anything that comes in the junk mail. This can be bound with a simple bookbinding technique. And again, we can use a little bit of water here, but we wouldn't want to build up too many layers because it is a little bit thin in some places. It uses all shapes and sizes, and it really can, make a bit of a mess of your book if you're not careful as to how you add those layers. If you're more of a drawer, then perhaps something as simple as a visual diary will be fine. This has got 110 GSM paper. It's got quite a texture to it, and this is fine if you want to, again, build up some simple layers, do a lot of sketching, do a lot of blending. It's when you get into more of those art techniques that you really will need to consider what paper you're using. Here's another really fun mixed media journal from Stamperia. Now this is 300 GSM, so just that little bit thicker. Again, it's got a really smooth surface as well. So that gives you a chance to add a few more little layers. So here we've added a wash of stencil butter, as well as some texture paste and a little bit of collage in the front. So it will hold up to a little bit more rigor. But again, being in a book, you don't want to make it too thick as you build up those layers. So again, we can add some paint, some stenciling and stamping here, but not keep making it too wet. Okay, pre-made journals, these ones are spiral bound. So this is another nice watercolor paper. I think this is about nearly 300 GSM as well. And again, just what you need for building up those layers, doing the painting, doing the collage. And you can see that it has buckled a little bit, but that doesn't worry me. I will quite often, put something in between it and then make sure that it is dry before I close it. One of the great art journals for beginning is these Delusions one. Again, it's got really nice, smooth papers. It's really well bound, and we can use it for collage, for painting, for really building up those layers. It really will take a fair bit of punishment. If I was going to do something really wet, I'd probably tape the spine as well, just to make sure that it won't leak. Using it for swatching, using it. This has also got some embossing in it. So it will take, and as well as collage, so it will take quite a few layers before it starts to warp too much. Now those are all journals that have been bound. You can also get journals where you can pull the pages apart. So these art journals have rings in them, and that gives you a chance to pull the pages out. Now it comes with a set of the white, beautiful watercolor paper, similar to in the other journals, and then you can also get inserts in the craft as well as in the black. So it gives you a chance to work on different substrates as well. The great thing about having ring-bound journal is that you can pull the pages out, wait until they're dry, and then put them back together again. You're not stuck into a book. Now, for more advanced art journalists, there's all sorts of different substrates. This is a Dina Wakley media one. It's got rag paper, which is a lot more absorbent. And then this has got some canvas or calico in it, as well as all sorts of different materials. So you can certainly do mixed media materials as well. You just, again, want to experiment, understand how your materials will react on top of the different ones, because we know we're not going to get the same detailed painting on some hessian as we would on a paper page. And then, of course, we can take it out of your book and onto a canvas. Any canvas will work well. You just want to be conscious when you're doing mixed media that you don't push too hard where it's unsupported, because you will stretch the canvas. But that's why these mixed media boards or wooden cradles are really great as well, because you've got plenty of places where you can stamp and paint and add pressure to it, and it's not actually going to stretch. Now, if you're going to create your own art journal or you wanted to create some individual pieces, again, there's a huge range of different papers. Now, you can start off with a simple watercolor paper. So this is 180 GSM. Again, it's got a nice tooth in it if you wanted to do some shading. There's a whole brand of mixed media paper. So this is a 200 GSM, and again, has a bit of a texture to it. And then this is a gorgeous Bristol Smooth, which has just a really lovely finish. This is a bit thicker at 270 GSM. So again, really perfect for cutting into pages. So whether you're using pages to create a book, whether you want to create something with lots of layers, whether you want a pre-made journal where you can add lots of layers, something that you want to rearrange the pages in, keeping it simple, creating a junk journal, or just using some simple copy paper, all those options are available for you with mixed media art. So I hope that's given you some ideas when you ask what papers or what substrates do I need to use, because it really does depend on how you want to layer them up. So I do hope you will experiment, you will play, you will see what works for you. Give it a go. It is just paper and art supplies, so you're not doing a huge investment, and I hope you really do enjoy learning the benefits and the fun of mixed media art. So this is Michelle signing off. I hope you have a crafty day.